You cut the carbs, you start jogging, you skip breakfast, and yet the fat around your midsection refuses to budge. The sheer stubbornness of middle-aged belly fat can make you feel like your body is actively fighting against you. That's because it is. If you've been blaming your own lack of willpower for this, you're looking at the problem backward. For 99% of human history, the default environment was famine. Your body evolved to be incredibly efficient at hoarding every spare drop of energy to keep you alive when food disappeared. You don't even have to go back to the Ice Age to see this software working in harmony with our environment. Look at a standard crowd from just a few decades ago. Baseline body weights were noticeably lower across the board, long before extreme diets were a massive industry. In a blink of evolutionary time, our food environment flipped. We moved from constant food scarcity into a world of endless, cheap, and hyper-processed calories. The famine never comes, but we are eating as if it arrives tomorrow. Your brain doesn't know about supermarkets. It is still blindly running ancient survival software, frantically saving those valuable calories because it is convinced that starvation is always right around the corner. To understand why we can't just ignore these excess calories, we have to look at the first law of thermodynamics. 19th century physicist James Prescott Joule helped establish a harsh reality. Energy cannot be created out of nothing, and it cannot be magically destroyed. It can only be transformed from one state into another. Biology is not exempt from the laws of physics. Every single surplus calorie you consume in our modern food environment has to go somewhere. Since you aren't burning that energy to outrun predators, your body dutifully converts it into stored physical mass. So you decide to lose that mass by eating less. You step on the scale, cut your portions, and wait. But your hypothalamus, the control center in your brain, does not see a health goal. It perceives an immediate, mortal threat to your life. If you picture your body's weight regulation as this biological thermostat, you can see how the brain operates. Over time, it locks on to a specific weight range, a set point. When you attempt to drop below that weight, the system hits a hard barrier and aggressively defends its reserves. The moment you drop a few pounds, the brain launches its first chemical counterattack. It spikes your levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Simple cravings dissolve into an obsessive, unavoidable hunger as your body demands you replace the lost fat. Next, it quietly lowers your resting metabolic rate. Without you realizing it, your body starts burning fewer calories to perform the exact same daily functions, like breathing and pumping blood. You are eating less, but your brain is spending less. It initiates this multi-pronged chemical attack to drag your weight kicking and screaming right back to its peak. And the brain has a third defense mechanism. It drastically reduces your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. This is the background energy you burn by fidgeting, pacing, or simply standing up. While you are restricting your food, your subconscious urge to move drops to nearly zero. Your physical battery is quietly drained, leaving you glued to the couch instead of burning those daily calories. Reaching middle age makes this entire system worse. We naturally lose metabolically active muscle tissue, a process called sarcopenia, while our hormone levels slowly decline. You combine a brain that refuses to spend energy with an aging metabolism that requires less of it, creating a biological stalemate that keeps your fat reserves guarded. So, what happens when this ancient software forces you to continually hoard energy, but your body physically runs out of safe places to store it? Look at this cross-section of subcutaneous fat. These cells, called adipocytes, swell to absorb excess energy, but they have a strict maximum capacity. Eventually, they hit a breaking point, reaching maximum physical stretch and literally lock down. They refuse to absorb another calorie. The rejected energy has to go somewhere, resulting in a dangerous spillover effect. The fat is forced deep into your abdominal cavity, wrapping aggressively around your vital organs, your heart, your liver, and your intestines. This is visceral fat. It forms a hard, firm belly. Most importantly, it is metabolically toxic. It actively pumps out inflammation and directly drives chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease. We cannot overwrite thousands of years of evolutionary programming.
But while the first law says energy is conserved, the second law of thermodynamics reminds us that energy conversion is never free. Every time your body transforms fuel, it pays a tax in the form of wasted heat, and we can use that inefficiency to our advantage. This chart shows how we use that tax through caloric availability. While processed sugars are absorbed almost instantly, complex proteins are notoriously difficult to break down. Your body spends up to 30% of the protein's own energy just processing the meal, a massive thermal loss that leaves less fuel to be stored as fat. You pair that dietary inefficiency with resistance training. Lifting weights forces the body to build and maintain muscle mass. Because muscle requires constant energy simply to exist, you artificially raise your resting metabolic rate, countering the natural decline of middle age. By exploiting thermal inefficiencies and increasing physical demand, you can safely drain the toxic visceral vaults and reclaim control from your ancient survival software.